So, I came from a really large hospital. They're the hospital that everybody goes to when you're sick. And so I think for them, like the rest of the world thinks, oh, COVID's over. We can go about our lives, but that's just not really the case that we're seeing in the hospital. I have lots of friends that I still keep in contact with, and they're still seeing cases of COVID, and it's kind of like it has been. If you get COVID, you get really sick, you get really sick. And so they're still seeing those long-term in the hospital 2-3 weeks that are, needing ECMO, and they're just not doing well. But I think that as the vaccine moves through a larger population of people, we'll see less and less of that, because they have seen that the people who are getting COVID, they're not getting as sick. So they may have been vaccinated, still gotten COVID, but they weren't as sick, and that's really the goal of the vaccine.
But there are still enough people out there that are truly at risk, that some of the more cataclysmic moments they're still happening all around.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure. There's still people out there still getting sick that are at risk. They're still getting sick with COVID. They're still costing tons and tons of money and resources from the hospitals.
Hey, what about you? What are you hearing from the world?
Honestly, since I've been in the pediatric world, it didn't hit children as hard as it hit the adult population. But I know there still are some cases out there, and it's definitely still a concern. And children have a different set of complications from COVID than adults do, and the kids who get that actually are severely ill. So,
okay. Still very prevalent and still something to consider.
Yeah.
Is COVID likely to affect organ transplant? Is it affecting the availability of organs or the quality of organs? Or
that's a good question.
I don't think we really know the answer to that yet. I mean, I think that in the clinical world, because we don't have any background on COVID, we only know today's data.
Yep.
That the people that have had transplants thus far, had a transplant from someone who had never had COVID. So I think we may very well see the availability of transplanted organs go down in a sense. I know that they're already, when you are transplanting an organ, they do ask, have you had COVID? Same thing with blood.
Yes.
If you're giving blood, have you had COVID? Have you had the vaccine? So, I don't think that we know the end-all be-all answer to that, but I think it's definitely going to have an impact on not only the availability, but possible, people who have had a transplant, what happens to them.